Good morning, women of God. As a follow up to yesterday's question, I asked what Joseph's name meant when it was changed by Pharaoh, as well as the verses and chapter in which it was changed. According to scriptures, in chapter 40, Joseph calls on God to interpret a dream for two people, the chief baker and the cupbearer. Upon release, he reminds the cupbearer not to forget about him. And sure enough, what happens? He's released and he forgets about Joseph. And for 2 years. But 2 years later, God reveals he never forgot about Joseph. Pharaoh, he has a dream that can only be interpreted by God. No one else was able to interpret that dream. And for the third time, we see Joseph calls upon God and he says, "My God surely can do it." So, using Pharaoh, God grants a sudden reversal of circumstances. And Pharaoh is so delighted, so delighted. The end result was elevation, but it was also a name change. See, when ruling nations took authority over their subjects, they often changed their names. And if you recall, in the same way that King Nebuchadnezzar, he renamed Daniel to Belshazzar, along with the other Hebrew boys, and we hear them known oftentimes as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So let's look at this a different way. Because of the way that society is set up and our friends, our family, our relationships, they might attempt to change your name. Change your name to something that doesn't fit the character and nature or person for that matter that God has created or called you to be. Some will even hold you in contempt and as you draw closer to God because you are not living up to the name that they gave you many moons ago. You know, the party girl or the lesbian or the trans or whatever labels they have put on you. But nowhere do I see these names in the Word of God. Much like Pharaoh, who adhered to the world standard, sometimes our family and friends do the same thing. And if we confess, we too are guilty of labels. Joseph's name change is not mentioned in any other verse in the Bible, which indicates that it had no lasting impact when compared to the name given by God. He takes away, he gathers. So through Joseph, God would assemble his people and he would continue to build his nation. When God changes your name, it's not temporary. In your obedience and service to him, you will forever be chosen. You will have the name of loved, a royal priestess, a part of a holy nation, that you will be righteous. You will be his daughter. You will be perfected. You will be named as successful, as sanctified, as consecrated. I could go on and on. Like Joseph, you will be promoted from last to first, and your humble obedience again will make you the first in line for the blessing, just as Joseph did, bypassing all of his brothers to become first in line. So today, it doesn't matter what they call you, it's how and if you will answer when God calls you. Fine tune your frequency to hear him today. I pray blessings over your day and increase in your territory. Take care.